What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about HBAR today. Hedera hash graph. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are. Here we are at about 17 cents, just below there on this, the 30th of March. Coming up to the end of this week, coming up to the end of this month. We have 8 hours left in the week as of now, and about 24 hours more than that, so 32 hours left in the month as it stands. Likely we are moving lower. That is the expected outcome, at least as of now. For taking this from a relative low here to a relative high there, something like that, low to high, we likely will see prices that are around 15.3 cents or lower. If we take into consideration that Bitcoin probably drops down about 13% or so, I would anticipate that HBAR also does that. So probably even below 15 cents. I would say 14 cents or lower is the probable outcome. Do you have to go lower than 15%? No, you don't have to. But the 1-4-1-4 is notorious for wicks that go just below it and then you close back above it. So just be aware of that, right? That's kind of what the common theme is with this thing. So if we look at this, I would think that you probably do go down below 14 cents at a minimum. 14 cents, below 14 cents at a minimum. That's kind of what I'm thinking. At the most that I could see you drop down HBAR, I suppose, yeah, I like 13 cents, 12.9 cents. That could be it. Could you drop more than that? Sure. I don't know if you go all the way down to 11.3 cents, but maybe at the worst case scenario, it's like 11.3, 10.7 cents, something like that could be in the cards. But I'm thinking I really do like that 13-cent area, 12.9 cent area. That's where I think you'll go. Looking at the daily RSI here, you are living below the 50. You've been living below the 50 for quite some time, actually. Anytime you get above the 50, it's very short-lived and just harsh rejections off of the overbought zone. And I say anytime, really, it's just this one time. You are getting lower lows in the price with lower lows in the RSI, definitely confirming the notion that you go down. If we look at the weekly time frame here is also below the 50, but you're kind of to the opposite effect, right? You're living above the 50, and even in the overbought zone, you're living there, and here you're just below it barely. I would expect that you go to the 40, bounce right off of it, and just like here on the daily time frame where you rejected, you went from the above the 50 and then down pretty hard. I would think on the weekly time frame, you do the same thing but to the upside. So over the days to come, a little bit of downside, but over the weeks to come, over the months to come, some upside is what I would expect. Does that mean that once you find your low in the coming days that you're going to just rip to the upside immediately? No, it doesn't have to be like that. You probably chill for a little bit. The faster the better. We all want to see this thing fly as fast as it can, don't get me wrong, but in all fairness, it doesn't have to be that way. You found your low here last time, you moved sideways for a long time, and then you just had a fake out low, and then boom, you went up immediately. I mean, technically that was your low, and you moved up immediately. Here, you found a low and you moved sideways. You had like a double bottom, and then you moved up immediately, or not immediately, but you moved up after that. Here, 1 week later, you're just moving sideways, and then you moved up a little bit, but moved sideways and just like slowly crawled up, right? I suppose HBAR, you actually do look like you like to move up rather immediately. At least this cycle you have. Not every single bounce, but don't count on it and don't get discouraged, right? I really do think that this low here that we're talking about, below 14 cents, probably around 12 cents or so, or whatever the price was. I do think that this is going to come in. It's going to come in over the coming days, probably by April 2nd, if not on April 2nd. It could come into play, afterwards as well. But something this next week, not this week here. We have 7 hours, 57 minutes left for. But next week, sometime next week is where I think we will find our low. And just because we find our low doesn't mean that we have to rip to the upside. But we will probably figure ourselves out in April. Going into May, we'll really start to rip, and then June, I think, will be the finale of this move. Not the finale of the cycle. I think whenever it comes to the end of the cycle, we have a lot more time to go. Probably sometime in October, November, December, Q4 is when I think that we will top off for this bull cycle. That's been the prediction for years now, and we'll see if that holds or not. If anything, I would think it goes longer, but it's possible that it could go shorter. We could find resistance, we could top off earlier than Q4, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it'll be early Q4 or late Q4. Early Q4 for Bitcoin, mid Q4 for altcoins that we find our tops at, right? So let's talk about that. We've gone over the downside. Let's talk about the upside, okay? And just real quick, actually, before we move on, I do want to look at something real quick. Hold on. 4 hour time frame. Yeah, the 4 hour looks kind of sad as well. 1 hour time frame here, looking sad. I want to look at this real quick. Hold on. Low here to high there, 1-4-1-4 at a minimum, and probably just below 14 cents is what we'd expect, right? Because you go a little bit below the 1-4-1-4, and then maybe down all the way down at 13 cents here, just below 13 cents, and perhaps something right in this zone is to be possible as well. We're going to delete this fib, and I just want to zoom out on a weekly basis and see where we are. I mean, all of those lines intersect with the prior area of resistance, so very possible area. That top line, the 161, or no, that's the 141 the 14-cent area. Yeah, that is right there, that prior area of support. Not a whole lot of significance, but relatively speaking, there is. What about from this relative low to high here? Right around the 0.5 area. Hey, I like that 0.5 lining up with the 1618, and it lines up with this weekly closing high. I really do like that price just below 13 cents, right around 13 cents. I like that a lot. I think that's where you're going to go, HBAR, for your low. And that's probably going to happen over the coming days. It's not going to take a week. It's going to be a very short-lived experience, too, when you're down there. But when it comes to new all-time highs, the next move up, based off of this fib here, the next move up, the only reasonable area to expect, in my opinion, would be $1.20 or higher. From the current price of 17 cents, that would be a 7x or more. 7x or more, right? 605%, that's a 7x. We could go up even higher than that to about $1.80. That would be about a 10x there, and it's very possible you could still go higher than that. I do think that HBAR has the potential to see prices above $2, but in comparison to like XLM, I think XLM has a better chance of seeing prices above $2. It's also at a higher price, I believe. Isn't it at a higher price? Let's look at that here. XLM USD. Yeah, it is. It's dramatically higher, right? Higher market cap too, and this one does have a lower market cap. Don't get me wrong; it could do some crazy stuff. But I think already, getting around $2 is crazy enough, let alone above there. My expectation, if I really had to guess for HBAR, is I think $1.21 is a good minimum. But I really do think that you get above there. I'm expecting prices that are around $2, but not above $2. Something on the lines from the current price of about a 10x or so. That's what I'm anticipating. Whenever it comes to new all-time highs, that's where you're going to stop, and I think that will be where you are by the end of May, by the end of June, something like that, right? And they'll probably consolidate around this area, maybe a little bit lower, whatever, before you get ready for your cycle-ending finale run. Where's that run going to be? Let's see if we can figure that out, right? I don't really know exactly. Nobody knows exactly, but we're at a 7.2 billion with a B dollar market cap right now. 17 cents is the price. 2.2% volume on a 24-hour basis relative to the market cap. Yeah, but you got a really high market cap, so that's fine, man. HBAR here, if we were to take this into consideration, $7 billion right now, I think that it will see a market cap that's over $100 billion by the end of the cycle. I think that it will. So from here, a 10x from 7 would put you at 70 billion. So you're going to be near 100 billion by the end of this next move, if not even above 100 billion, or at least around there by the end of this next move. Probably not above there. I shouldn't say above there, but above 70, right? Whenever it comes to the end of the cycle, I think that you could double that. You could see something on the lines of like 140, 150 billion. But if you're doing that, that takes you above the 1618 and puts you in between the 1618 and the 1886. Anytime you get above the 1618, normally, especially on like a closing period, I have a hard time seeing you stop somewhere in the abyss here, in between these lines. Normally, it's like you either stop here or you continue up to here. So one of two outcomes is going to happen, right? Either HBAR, you only have a 19x, which would still put you around like 140 billion, something around there, right? Sorry, guys, I was petting my cat for a good bit of this video. He's got hair all over the place. It's springtime, baby. They're shedding. Let's see. So I mean, that's a good. I think that's a good minimum target. Oftentimes, cycle after cycle, from a high to a low, you do stop between your 1618 and your 2272, somewhere in that zone. But we haven't even gotten to that yet, right? But a $140 billion market cap around there, that could be where I see you stopping off. That's not too crazy. The only thing is, HBAR has been kind of a shining star so far this cycle. Doing something like this would imply that it's going to be underperforming the average coin, because I think the average coin will do like a 25 to a 30x by the end of this cycle. That's my expectation. At least that's what we get from the others chart, right? And I would go over that now, but I don't really care to. Likely, we either stop here or continue higher. Now, this would imply a 38x to potentially a 52x move, a 38x from, if a 10 billion or a 10x would put you at 72 billion, essentially, a 20x would put you at 144 billion. A 30x would put you at 210, 215, let's just say 220 billion. So 30x puts you at 220. That's there. Oh no, 40x would be even more than that. So what, 290? Is that right? like 290, 295 billion. Let's just say 290 to keep it even. 290 billion. That is a multi-$100 billion market cap, and that is pretty high. But I could see it happening, man. And the thing is, a 39x from here, that puts you at about a $290 billion market cap. That would be outperforming the average coin, and that makes sense to me. I mean, this is just a little bit more outperforming, but it still is outperforming, and that makes a lot more sense to me. So $3.15, I could see it happening, but it doesn't make sense to me in the sense that that would by default just imply that you're going to underperform the average coin this cycle. But with higher market caps, you kind of do relinquish your outperforming conditions, and that's just kind of the case with these higher cap coins. But we'll see. You know, I could see a $3.15 price, $6.62 price. If you were to go any higher than that, guys, we're talking about a market cap that's like over $400 billion. And maybe you do reach for $10. Maybe you get very close to there. I don't think that you would go above $9 personally. It's very unlikely. It's incredibly unlikely that you would see something at $20. I think if you're expecting this area here, because the 2272, you oftentimes don't tip it. You actually go above it a good bit of the time, and that would put you near $1 trillion in market cap. I'm not saying HBAR can't get there inevitably. I just don't know. I don't know if we see any altcoin in its second bull cycle get to $1 trillion market cap. I don't think we've ever seen that before. That's pretty fast. That's stuff that's reserved for like third cycle, right? Fourth cycle for some coins. You know, it's not something that happens overnight. I think it took Bitcoin 4 cycles just to get there, or maybe 3 cycles just to get there. I mean, if we look at Bitcoin here real quick, let's just see, right? Because it broke through $1 trillion. Wasn't it this cycle that it did that? Let me see. Let me make sure I'm not remembering incorrectly. Because if we're making this point here, it's at 1.6 now. 1.6 now. Oh, thank you. I'm gonna use this hand. Whew. Because that's the one that didn't pet the cats. Oh goodness. Got some French toast sticks. They're really good, man. They're really good. They're not good for me, but they taste good, man. They're good for the soul. Bitcoin here. Let's go to the market cap, right? Market cap. Overall all-time high log. Let's see. Last cycle, we did not. Oh, we did. We saw $1 trillion. So it was last cycle, not the cycle before. So last cycle, that would have been its 4th bull cycle, I'm pretty sure. Because I think we're in the 5th one now, right? 4th halving cycle, but the 5th bull cycle, right? Because here, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if Bitcoin took 4 cycles to see $1 trillion market cap, I have a hard time seeing HBAR doing it in 2 cycles, right? I don't care how great you are, how ungreat you are. So I don't think you go to $19 to $20. I think you'll probably find resistance somewhere around $3.15 to $10, probably $9 whenever it comes to your all-time high this cycle. And that would put you anywhere from here about an 18, 19x to potentially like a 50 to 53x, something like that. I've got nothing else for you guys. A little bit of downside first. We'll probably go just below 13 cents, right around 13 cents. That's where I think we're going to go. And then for the rest of the cycle, working our way up. This next move by the end of May, by the end of June, will likely take you up to prices that are around $2, but not above $2. But it could happen. You could go above $2. End of the cycle, we're looking for $3.20 to $9, somewhere in there. I have a feeling that you'll probably go pretty close to that 660 area or just a little bit above there. Okay, take care. Bye.